Quick update on BNBstake. Of course, there's a bunch of clones that have come out, FOMO Stake and BNBMinter. I mean, I wouldn't get caught up in all the clones. I wouldn't even recommend you get caught up in this. Now, I have put at this point 210 BNB in this, but guys, this is really high risk, really high stakes. It can be really high yield, but I would never recommend this to those of you who follow my recommendations because it's just too risky. You know, if I were to recommend this or even suggest it, and people jump in on it, and then you lose your BNB tomorrow, it's just too big of a hit. You know, there are too many almost sure things that we're doing that are making incredible amounts of crypto that I wouldn't want to jeopardize people not moving forward on those because of this. However, I am having fun with it. Those of you that like the high risk, high yield, you have the discipline to just put in maybe 10% of what you have to work with in the crypto world into something like this, then, you know, be my guest. I'm not going to put my link underneath because I don't want that to be seen as a recommendation. You can do a search on YouTube. I just want to give you a quick update. 25,955 now in the contract. So for those that don't know how this works, when this first came out earlier this month, I think it was like March 3rd or something like that. This was, I think, at 8%. And then it ticks up 0.5% every day. This is what it pays per day. So as the days go on, these yields get ridiculously high. And you can see now they're at 19.4% per day. It's just crazy, right? And so this is not, you know, should not be treated seriously, because if you treat it, unless you're a high risk, high stakes player, and I mean player, this is not real business, this is gambling. And some people, you know, make a living out of gambling. A lot of them make a living out of referring people to these programs, and they make a ton of crypto that way, and that helps them offset their losses. I just want to speak candidly to those of you who can't afford to lose your BNB. You don't put it in here. It's too high risk. But yeah, this is obviously very tempting for people. You put in 10 BNB and you can turn it into 27.16 in 14 days. It pays you every couple seconds. This is ticking up. I've withdrawn many times. I've reinvested many times. There's a great community in here. I will say this about the community. If I can find the community, I'm going to go to that contract in a second, because everything's transparent about this. I do like that about this. This is kind of an evolution of the high risk, high yield programs. And while I don't know for sure, it does appear that people would never pull the rug out from underneath us and run off with our crypto. It does appear to be a smart contract that works the way it's supposed to work and is fully decentralized without people that can do shenanigans. And there is something to be said about that. But if I go to the chat group here, there are some really funny, really good people in here working together to keep this thing going, encouraging each other, answering questions without being snippy or annoyed by newbies that are tech challenged. It's probably one of the best communities, if not absolutely the best community I've ever seen around a high risk, high yield program. These programs typically in the past seem to, you know, attract a crowd that didn't have really good social skills. That's not the case here. This group seems to be really fun loving and really cares about helping people and understands like how to interact with people in a way that's encouraging and so in answering people's questions and stuff, and really working together and talking about reinvestment and strategy to keep this thing going. And I did want to also show, here's somebody who did a video of himself reinvesting. He did a withdrawal. He posted in here, and you see he's not playing small. He's got 125 BNB in here, and he had 17 BNB, and he just showed that he withdrew it, and he showed how it went in his MetaMask, and then he showed he reinvested it. Of course, everyone applauds him, and it really encourages that, especially of the whales who can take a lot out, who've been in this maybe a couple of weeks and they got a big payday. They are encouraging particularly the whales and everybody to reinvest some of that back in, because that keeps this going. Because the way this works is this contract balance has to have funds in it, or when your contract is up or you want to do a withdrawal, if there's nothing in here, you can't get it out. And that's what's going to happen at some point. At some point, people are going to make so much from some of these big returns. Like, look at this. Maybe somebody, let's say, puts in 100 BNB into this one, and in 28 days, it turns into 6,925 BNB. If there's enough of people doing that in the same day, they might drain this contract balance. And so there's a lot of encouragement to do reinvesting, right? There's a lot of applauding when somebody like that gentleman I just showed you, who showed himself taking a lot out and then reinvesting most of it back in, a lot of encouragement of that, because that keeps this contract growing and going. I saw this as low as 14,700 yesterday. So, I mean, it's really going. It's quite incredible as just a phenomenon. Again, don't mistake my excitement about what it is with an encouragement for you to do it. I'm not going to put my affiliate link here so that there can be no mistake about it. I had some affiliate links on some previous videos I did where I was really recommending people do not do it. I was really harsh about it. So I felt comfortable putting my link there. And I did have a few people sign up in it, even though I was really discouraging it. But you could see my discouragement kept them from putting too much in there. And I went ahead and I removed all my affiliate links because now I'm a little bit more upbeat about it. And I don't want my upbeat energy and the fact that I've dropped 210 BNB to encourage people that maybe don't have BNB to lose. Maybe they don't know about the other systems that we have in place that generate a lot of crypto. And it would be devastating for them if they were to lose in this thing, because at some point this is going to get drained. At some point that will happen. But I will say, between the community working together and what I'm seeing and just the way it's set up and the nature, human nature, this could run, several more weeks. It could run another month or two, and there'll be a lot of people who make millions of dollars here. And so it's kind of crazy. It's wild to watch. And so for those that don't understand how it works, it started at a low rate, like 8% per day. Well, that's not that low, is it? And now it's increased to this, and it's going to keep increasing, and it's going to continue to increase. So like in about a week, this will be at 25% per day, and it's kind of an experiment of like, as the risk goes up, as the stakes are higher, how many people will, FOMO in, and how many people will play with the group, like, right? So like if a whale can take out 6,925, we're already seeing this. They're choosing not to withdraw it because they don't want to kill it, and they'll take out a little bit and then they'll reinvest. It's a really interesting social experiment. Right now, based on looking at the contract, what I like about this is that what's interesting about it is you can go look at the contract and you can see everything. And there's people that have gone over every transaction. And the way the numbers add up right now, it would be very unlikely that a 14-day, like, look at this plan here. If you put like 100 in this, you'd get a 1,096. It's very unlikely you wouldn't be able to score here with the current growth rate and what people have put in so far. In fact, it wouldn't even need to maintain the growth rate that it has, just because there hasn't been, you can go see, a lot of people have taken the time to go through all of this, and there was a lot of discussion in there, and you can see everything that's come in, everything that's come out. If we look at the analytics here, you can see it really jumped yesterday, and today it's going to really jump again. It looks like it's beginning another leg of momentum. Again, no guarantee of that. So that's why all this is super risky. You don't know, it could just plummet tomorrow. But the momentum, based on typical types of graphs, this is showing it could really take off. Now, if we look at BNB transfers, same thing. You can see, so the black bar indicates this goes, so it launched on the on Friday, March 5th, it looks like, or somewhere back there. And it's showing the black bars of each day as the incoming, how much BNB came into the contract. The blue bar is how much went out. And you can see here, like yesterday, it just really took off. And today it's going to even be bigger. We can already see that based on the growth that's happened in the last 12 hours. So it looks like it's really upticking, and it's pretty wild to watch. But my point is, people have scoured all of these transactions and scoured all of this data. And just looking at the numbers, there's not a lot of big contracts that are due yet anytime soon. I think April 13th is when they call it whale week, where some of these contracts get bigger. And so between now and April 13th, it's kind of, people are seeing it as a pretty safe time to get in. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you that, people that have scoured the numbers, I looked over them, it does seem to confirm, that even if it didn't grow at the present rate, between now and the next, 20 days or so, it looks pretty safe, just because you can look at the numbers and the transactions and see that there were no big investments made into these bigger plans that people can cash out in the short term. Now, again, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden tomorrow people just stop putting anything into it and start taking everything out. This could dwindle down to zero. So that's why I'm not going to recommend this to anybody. I'm not even going to put my link under this video, but I just wanted to give you an update on it. I wanted to share with you that it is different in that, well, there's no guarantee of this either, but there's a audit that was done by a company called Hayes Crypto, which has built a pretty good reputation for itself in the industry. A lot of you might recall, what's it called? TronStake recently ran off of people's crypto, and it was supposed to be a smart contract where that wouldn't be possible. And Hayes Crypto did an audit, said it was clear, but then before TronStake launched, they found something in the code that they had missed, and they reneged it and said, no, this doesn't look safe. And that was 2 days before it launched. And lo and behold, they ended up running off of people's crypto. So after that, Hayes Crypto developed a pretty good reputation with their audits. And so they audited this. That's, again, no guarantee, but they're stating in their audit that there's nothing in this code that indicates that they could ever run off with people's crypto, that it's secure, that even the creators of this couldn't do that. And that's different. If that's true, that's different for a high risk, high yield program where that's usually the problem, right? But still, even if they can't run off with the crypto, even if this is a airtight, smart contract that can't be altered and wasn't designed to be able to allow them to do that, where it's all locked in here and the crypto that's in the wallet's untouchable, it's still, there needs to be BNB in the contract to be able to do your withdrawal. And while the community is working good together and they're all reinvesting and sharing and encouraging each other and have good strategies in place to keep this thing going, the day will come where there'll just be too big of payouts by too many people to be able to maintain the growing balance. But right now, it does look really exciting for those that like this kind of thing. This was yesterday here. It really took off. And I think the most telling is right here. This last bar, these two bars were yesterday, and today's is going to even tower over these. It looks like it's at the start of a major momentous growth period, which again, if that lasted 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of people who make millions of dollars who didn't have anything close to that before. And we're already seeing, in fact, today I saw a withdrawal of like 800 BNB. It didn't even phase the contract because the growth is so staggering right now. But again, this is extremely high risk. I would never recommend it for that reason, because I want to make sure that I'm recommending and working with people on projects that can go long term. You know what I mean? Because it's just too devastating for so many people when they get excited and they put their crypto in this. And most people just don't have the discipline to only put 10% of what they're working with into these kinds of things, and they'll put too much. And then if it doesn't work out, they kind of give up on their hopes and dreams, and it's a devastating process for them. And for that reason, I'm just not going to, put my link below. But if you're the kind of person, obviously, who, there's not, when you know about these kinds of things, you want to be part of them. Obviously, you can go find somebody else's affiliate link, but just beware. It should be obvious that, it can't maintain itself forever. But yeah, I wanted to let you know that it is a phenomenon right now, and it is growing at a staggering rate. And just remember, there's different, staking is the big thing right now. I've staked in Peak DeFi, which is a long-term sustainable project that isn't going to collapse in any foreseeable future. It's a legitimate project that has a token that can be used for legitimate things that over time can have growing value that you can stake and get paid on. That's called Peak DeFi. Super, super awesome. There'll be a link under this video if you're interested in this or anything else that I discuss, that you can reach out to me on that. It's a sustainable long-term staking project. And in the long-term, I think you can make a lot more than you can in a short-term project. And then there's also NRGY, which is a little bit higher risk than Peak DeFi because it's brand new. It's like only 5 weeks old. But I mean, that thing shot up from $2 to we saw it as high as 900. Right now it's sitting at like 680 or 720 today. That has the potential to go to 5,000 or more. But more importantly is the staking with NRGY, getting all of the staking and really high yields here early on. Another project really good to watch that has legitimate, sustainable utility, and people will use utility or NRGY token for using dApps, different applications. And so it's sustainable. It's not going to just collapse all of a sudden like something like this. Then a lot of people are staking on PancakeSwap, and that can be really good. But I mean, nothing like these returns. So those are different than this. This is something that's extremely short term, but in that short term, people make millions and millions of dollars who get in at the right time and play with the strategy right. Again, not something that I recommend, but I want to keep you updated on because there'll be more and more of these. FOMO Stake just came out. It's a clone of this. BNBMinter is another one, another high risk, high yield. I just want to caution you guys that do play in these things. If it's all you do, it's very unlikely you're going to do well long term, if it's all you do. So I just encourage you to have this be a part of your portfolio if you play in these kinds of things. You know, look, I've got 210 in this thing. It could work out for me, maybe it won't, but I can afford to do that because first, I use an Ethereum smart contract that my whole team is using to generate Ethereum daily on a regular basis, following a duplicatable system. I just show everybody how to do it. We make our Ethereum that way. It's not risk-based. It's not an investment. And so it's consistent and reliable. And then we can use that to, well, hang on to some of the Ethereum because it's skyrocketing, right? But also to invest in projects we're excited about. Some of them can be super high risk like this, a small percentage of it. Some of it can go into something like peak DeFi that's a much lower risk. Some of it can go into energy. And again, I don't ever recommend what you put it into, but I show you the duplicatable system and give it to you and do all the content and everything, show you how to post it. It just works like clockwork if you follow it, and you can generate Ethereum with that and then put it into whatever programs you're excited about. You know, that's what I really like to show people, because it's a sure thing when you can generate Ethereum as income without investment. You know what I mean? And then you can put it into all these different exciting projects as much as you want, as high risk or low risk as you want. And we share with you what we're doing, but never a recommendation because we're not financial advisors, right? But we can show you how to generate the income. So click in Ethereum that you can use for these kinds of projects. Click the link below this video if you're interested in that. You'll find someone probably on my team, you know, that will help you see exactly what my system is. Works beautifully. But guys, I'll keep you posted on this. I'll let you know how I do. And I do love this community. I will say there's some of the most fun, loving, and considerate people. Will that maintain itself in the Telegram group? I don't know. You know, as this grows, and certainly when the day comes where it's not growing and that people aren't so excited, maybe the culture changes. But I will say they have been a really supportive group, and they're working together to keep this going. And so far, we look at this contract, man, is it going and growing? It's quite incredible. I'll keep you posted.